I kind of hope that the like tissue box and the book are blocking the microphone so that it doesn't pick up too much wind. But anyway, it's got the fluffer, so it shouldn't be too bad. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm filming a bit of a reflect with me or journal with me. Originally I had in mind to do a week in my life kind of video, but I got a bit lazy, and also there's really not much that I was doing anyway aside from studying and watching K-dramas with the family. Whereas my last video was really dim and dark, this one's gonna be really nice and bright because I'm out of my parents' balcony, but I didn't consider like how blinding the sun would be or how blinding my forehead would be for you guys, so sorry about that. I'm using journaling prompts from Psych Central, and they've got a few. Like I'm on the one that says like 64 journaling prompts, yada yada yada. So for today I'm going to do the self-reflection questions. I'll put the link down in the description for the website that I am using, and I'll also pop up on the screen the ones that I'm answering. I haven't journaled in a while, but I thought since it was mid-sem break it would be a good time to kind of get back on it and do some journaling, since I have a bit of time anyway, and it's a Sunday for me. So I hope you enjoy this, and let's get journaling. Okay, so as you can tell, the sun's gone down quite a bit, so I thought I should get to my answers and share them with you guys. Yeah, I found them tough, I don't know why. Okay, so for question 1, honestly, like what even are the values aside from the ones listed? I was like, what would you say are values? So the ones that I put are honesty. The ones that I put were honesty, faith, integrity, and trust. I'd like to think that I try to live in a way that sorry, there are kids screaming in the neighborhood. I'd like to think that I try to live in a way that I don't need to be dishonest with anyone, including myself. I think automatically, right, if you value certain principles in life, then you're acting in such a way that you would prioritize those, so it's not like my actions don't align with them, and I think that's for many people. For question 2, the 3 changes to make. For me, these aren't so much changes as things that I want to continue doing, because these are things that I've reflected on in the past and identified as things I want to work on, so they're not just things I'm going to work on now. But anyway, the things I want to continue to do to live according to my personal values: 1, reflect on God's word and his goodness, like throughout my history, because when you consider that, you kind of realize how silly you realize how silly it is that you're still worrying about the same things, a thing that is smaller than something he's done in the past. Oh, Gummy can hear me. When time and time again God has proven his goodness to you and that he won't leave you alone. Second, I want to remove myself from situations that would force me to be dishonest. And number 3 is I want to be better at letting go. Oftentimes if I'm trying to trust God with something, a situation, I tell myself that I've let go, but I'm still thinking about it. I think it's one of those things that I'm always going to have to work with, and that's fine as long as I'm trying. Number 3. Alright, I took so much longer on this question than I thought I would. So I've got funny, resilient, hardworking, which counts as 2 even if it's one thing. Hardworking, passionate, curious, smart, patient, progress, pacifist. With the progress thing, as in like I'm a work in progress, but I couldn't be bothered putting all of that in. And then the ones that I would like to use are kind, loving, generous, strong-minded, forgiving, carefree, supportive, encouraging, and thoughtful. And when I was looking at this, I realized that a lot of the values I would use to describe myself would be more to do with the way that I work, the things that I put effort into, whereas the things that I would like to see are more to do with relationships and with other people. It's not that I don't think I'm those things at all, I just would like to be more of them. Question 4, the things I appreciate about myself. I like that I'm resilient. I think I would have a much more difficult time if I wasn't, because of the number of rejections I've gone through and the kind of things I want to do in my life. So I know that there are going to be many more rejections to come, or many more disappointments to my human eyes, since I won't always be able to understand what God is doing behind the scenes. Yeah, I like that I'm resilient, and I also like that I'm peace loving. In general, I don't like to argue. The thing that is a bit harder to accept is the fact that I feel oftentimes I'm quite independent, or I'm very self-reliant. It's not bad to be independent. I just feel like as a human being who values relationship and who likes being around other people, it's not the best thing for me to be so independent all the time, because without realizing it, I can push people away. I just think like, okay, no, I can do this thing by myself. Why don't I do it by myself? Instead of accepting people who are offering help, because even though I don't need the help, I think it's good to spend that time with them when they offer help. Question 5, I've dealt with my fair share of racism in my life, and so sitting across an older white man who I felt was ignoring me but talking to others around me, and being the only Asian on that table, I was like, he's being so racist, like I can't believe he's not even talking to me. But anyway, a bit of time had passed after that dinner, and I found out he deals with social anxiety, and he's got a lot of like emotional issues that he's dealing with, and I realized that I was projecting the racism I had dealt with in my past and that I was expecting him to have. Like I was projecting that onto him, and I thought badly of him because of that when he was dealing with his own things. From that experience, I started thinking about, okay, well, what are my past experiences that I'm dealing with that I have trouble preventing myself from labeling others as? Before I move on, I'm gonna go and get my other battery. And come back with a thicker jacket. Okay. I didn't get a jacket, but I got a scarf. MJ's looking at me. She's upset because I went on the balcony without her. Ate, no, don't. Ate, it's freezing. So annoying.
Hello. Hi.
Wait, I need to finish filming this.
Hi.
That experience made me reconsider the way that I might have projected things onto other people in the past, or projected the way that I expected them to feel about me. Number 6, this one I struggled with, but 3 beliefs I'm willing to reconsider or explore. And because I struggled with it so much, my answers aren't really serious. So the first one is that dogs are better than cats. So I would be willing to reconsider that. I think it would take a lot to convince me that dogs are not better than cats, but it's not something I'm very strongly against anymore. This one's a bit more serious. Number 2 is that babies don't mix well with careers, and I've seen women do it, and yeah, it's all. Number 3 is that I was an ugly baby. I high-key still think I was an ugly baby, but my relatives have been like, no, you are so cute. And cute doesn't mean that I was a beautiful baby, but I think I was charming even though I was ugly. I'm open to the compliments. My life would be incomplete without, and this one was, I think, the easiest answer. So my life would be incomplete without my relationship with God. Question 8, 1 or 2 significant life events that shaped you. This one was tough. I don't know how to define an event. Is that like one singular moment? So I had a bit of a struggle. The first one I think was, and obviously there are so many, but on the spot I thought of these. The first one was the fact that I did physiology in semester 2 of my second year at uni, because originally I was a physics major, and then I did that subject, and that completely changed my career goals. And so from wanting to be an astronaut or an astrophysicist, I changed to wanting to be a doctor. What kind of a doctor, I still don't know, but I do want to be a doctor of medicine. Sorry, you can be a doctor in other fields. And the second one was my exchange experience and the sort of depression that I had while I was there. It definitely shaped me because I was so alone. I felt so alone, and that forces you to really rely on God. And as difficult as a season that was, I'm so extremely grateful that I went through it, because it's made me much more dependent on God and much more aware of how present He is even in dark and sad times. I know it's very deep, but I had a third one that came to mind: not being breastfed. Many studies show that you're smarter when you're breastfed, and I was not breastfed. So can you imagine how much smarter I would have been if I got breastfed? What could have been. When I trust myself the most, I trust myself the most when I've had enough sleep. I find it easier to trust myself, obviously, because I feel more alert and more aware of what I'm doing. I find it harder to have faith in my instincts when I've heard what others have to say. That changes the way I perceive things, and it changes the way I feel about things, especially if my parents have something to say. And I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's great that I've got these people to challenge the way I think, because 9 times out of 10 they're right. And if I always went with my gut instinct without having their experience in my mind or having their advice, I would definitely be in the pit right now. And number 10, what 3 things would you most like others to know about you? The first one is that I'm not ignoring them. I'm just really busy sometimes, or I'm just not in the mood to be on social media, and if I reply to one person, then I'd feel bad for not replying to someone else. Number 2, sometimes I don't want to talk or I don't want to listen, and that doesn't mean that I'll never want to talk or I'll never want to listen again. The only reason I'm saying this is because one time I had a friend who said that the way they are, right, is that if they say no to something, or if they say I don't feel like talking, they want to be pushed. Why would you say no, or why would you say you don't want to talk? If you do want to talk, just say it outright. But yes, I would like others to know that if I say no, or if I say I don't feel like it, or nothing, if they ask what's on my mind and I say nothing, don't push it, because that gets on my nerves so bad. It's not that I'll never want to talk about it, it's just that is not the time. I'm quite open to talking, I just need to be in the mood to talk. Number 3 is that I'm still a work in progress, so I think it's important for people to know that the things that I'm doing are not things that are set in stone, or things that I'm completely confident about or completely comfortable with. And I think people are nicer when they realize that you don't think you're perfect. This is more to strangers than family and friends, because if you're not like that, I don't think you'd make it to the good friends stage. I really like this. I also really like that I was doing it during sunset. I don't like that it's -5 degrees right now. It's not great, but this is, I think, something I would definitely like to keep doing and putting up on my channel. Anyway, thank you so much for coming to this week's video. If you like this content, please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like my moms. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and press the notification bell, and anything else there might be to do with YouTube. Thank you so much for coming. I do appreciate it a lot, and thank you for making it out here. Please come to next week. I don't know what I'm gonna be filming from next week. Maybe it's another reflection, but on a different life aspect. We'll see. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Have a blessed week. Oh, it's freezing. Good night. Bye.